More people are crossing the border than ever before. The governor says the federal government's not doing anything to stop it, so it's time for the state to take action. The problem is you can't get to the street I'm standing on right now, Woodlawn, without actually moving one of these barricades. We know that this water was only 6 to 10 inches high earlier today, so what you're seeing behind me right now is runoff. You just heard the update there from DPS about sort of the way these events unfolded today. We know that the shooter had a long rifle, obviously a rather massive death toll in a tragic situation that just gradually gets worse and worse. What characteristics do you think of the president are reflected in Mr. Risponi? Her attorney, Tony Busby, represented the women who sued ex-Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson for sexual misconduct. I made reference earlier to a group of Franciscan monks. They were praying just a moment ago. Can't imagine a more appropriate response. With 46 people dead tonight, if it is indeed a human smuggling case, it would be the deadliest such event in American history, we believe. We're going to keep having this same debate over and over and over again until one side blinks or school starts. Make no mistake, it is a good time. We've got a truck full of empty kegs to prove it. Jim called the race and the place erupted just like a football game. This is the number they've been waiting to hear for 4 years. Yes, they did, Deb. We told you last night this was likely to be a UTSA takeover. Sure enough, there's a sea of blue and orange behind me. Things are hairy at the moment. Sellers are getting 20% more on their homes than they would have this time last year. This is actually a 26% improvement compared to 2 weeks ago. Statewide, we're looking at a similar curve, a 17% improvement. What does it mean to be a leader on a defense that showed up like it did tonight? You can see the Sea of Galilee behind me, and that's where the governor and the rest of the delegation spent much of their day. Has all of this in the pageantry, has it set in?
No, it's never going to set in.
Yeah, Aaron, they're concerned about the possibility of more rain tomorrow because this is how high the water got today. This is a storage facility toward the front of the property near the highway. I'm 5'9" at high tide. It's about to my knees. So if the water had gotten any higher today, we're talking about flooded homes behind me. The highway became a sort of refuge for dozens of neighbors waiting to see how high the water would get.
It was coming in, and it was coming in fast.
Tanya Ruiz loaded her family up in the bed of a pickup when a neighbor said Leon Creek was backing up into their mobile home community.
I told my kids, hey, we gotta go now. And so we all got in the truck. And I actually let my neighbor know in the back because she didn't even know.
She and other residents lined the highway's higher ground, watching as the water moved. Some went back to retrieve TVs and family keepsakes. Others got flooded cars by any means necessary.
The guys went in and went to each door and asked the people if they needed any help getting out.
Battalion Chief Russell Johnson says the San Antonio Fire Department helped evacuate the people who wanted to leave. The Red Cross stuck around just in case homes flooded, though it appears they're dry tonight.
Just nervous, scared. I have a lot of things. I never thought this would happen.
Tanya, like most of her neighbors, didn't lose anything, though she'll spend the remainder of the week throwing trash out of her front yard. Pablo Ortega needed a job. Soon, he'd have a new mouth to feed. But good work can be hard to find in Tlapacoyan. So his family sold the home to pay smugglers who would guide Pablo from Veracruz to the U.S. He documented the journey's every leg in texts and videos to his sister, Rosa.
They told him it would be better to cross over the border, which only meant crossing the river by boat. From there, a car would pick them up, and it would drive them straight to their destination, with no more problems, and that nothing would set them back.
Their family paid extra, $13,000, for Pablo to sleep on beds in private homes with food, beer, and TV. He rarely walked. The safe houses had yards. Smugglers call it paquete de traslado complete, the complete transfer package. Elmer Romero says.
They stay in a hotel, residential houses, very nice, some of them. And also the opportunity to try again if they are arrested along the way.
He says it's a sort of investment that's become common. Since a family's economic future may depend on young relatives' arrival in the U.S., they're often willing to pay for protection. And Romero says it seems smugglers follow through in Mexico.
But they lose control when they are at the border.
San Antonio's mayor calling it a horrific human tragedy. 16 others have been rushed to the hospital. The fire chief says their injuries are from the heat.
Pablo didn't initially expect to ride in this 18-wheeler or any trailer. When he found out he would, Rosa says she warned him to stay toward the front so he wouldn't be crushed. She buried Pablo in Mexico last month.
When they are at the border, they mix everybody else. And then, you are treated the same, even if you pay VIP or regular.
Romero and the immigrants he works with say VIP travel often ends in a trailer, and many don't expect it. Ortega and at least 2 other victims identified by Reuters paid for security and comfort, but died here in San Antonio.
They don't guarantee nothing. I think they lie, to be honest. I think this VIP for me is they are lying.
Rosa tells me she's still getting used to this pain in her heart, that she wishes all of this was a dream. Her family is now hoping some relative will secure a visa to come work in the United States since they've lost a son, $13,000, and there's still a baby on the way. On this graduation day, there seems a shortage of caps and gowns. There are no balloons, no bunting in Uvalde windows.
Walk sign is on to cross North Getty.
It takes an hour to find congratulations. Even the local photographer is on vacation, so these portraits are dated. Senior Strong is given way to Uvalde Strong. Evidence for today's ceremony is limited to empty chairs at the Honey Bowl, where friends and family gathered free from unusual attention. But the world is still listening. The best way to hear the lessons these teachers and pupils have to impart is a little old school.
The heart of Texas. Class of 22, the entire community of Uvalde is behind you.
And tonight, 1049's listeners heard graduates commemorate the class of 2030.
I will forever miss y'all. Y'all will never be forgotten.
These are the moments that let us heal. They show us, believe it or not, that there is more good than evil in this world. So tonight, I would like to include these children from Robb Elementary as honorary members of the class of 2022 family.
288 students graduated from this school tonight, 307 if you count the kids from Robb. Superintendent Hal Harrell says this class earned a combined $3 million in scholarships. It's easy to understand why. You know, there's an old adage attributed to Mark Twain. He once said there are 4 original cities in the United States: Boston, San Francisco, New Orleans, San Antonio. You can certainly feel that when you get here and the cultural overlap between the two, but the basketball franchises, the Spurs and the Pelicans, could not be more different. Here, brass is an instrument of persuasion. It's the sounds that set New Orleans apart and beckon visitors' return.
It's amazing. I love it. I'm definitely coming back.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a deeper melting pot, a tastier gumbo of humanity. But ask what makes New Orleans special, and the answer sounds a lot like the one you'd get in San Antonio.
I love the food. The architecture is amazing. Just how many original buildings there are. I love it. I love the culture here.
Maybe it's the Catholicism, the world-renowned celebrations, or a shared Spanish heritage that make the Crescent City and the Alamo City so similarly unique. Yet for all the cultural crossover, a San Antonio resident probably wouldn't describe their basketball fandom like this.
It's had its struggles.
You'll see more Spurs gear on the Riverwalk than Pelicans gear in the French Quarter. And lately, there's been more talk of relocation than title contention here. But there's new hope in New Orleans, and fans would tell you the Pels are following a model for success awfully similar to the Spurs.
I think that's where we're headed. We got a young core that can kind of be that consistency like San Antonio's had.
So it's fitting. 2 one-of-a-kind cities, now with a chance to add basketball to their list of uncommon commonalities. KENS 5 News at 10 starts right now. Tonight, Uvalde schools have a new leader, an outsider with experience guiding districts through transition periods and even scandals. But our team coverage begins with Sue Kalberg live at the Norm Oil Warming Center, one of 7 open across the city. Sue, it looks like you're doing everything you can not to blow away right now. Your neighbors, friends, and family, average people, are almost certain to decide whether a rookie SAPD officer broke the law. A day after she vowed to stick around, Prime Minister Liz Truss is leaving. I can't remember a time in my time in Texas that the entire state was on fire like it is right now.
Especially your neck of the woods, East Texas,
Never.
right?
Good evening, I'm Matt Houston. Tonight, San Antonio police say they are still trying to crack a case KENS 5 first told you about when a picture of a naked man paying a late-night visit to a southeast side porch lit up social media. The homeowner told investigators this man rang the video doorbell around 3 a.m. and then performed in front of the camera for an hour. It was a show no one wanted to see, so police asked for your help identifying the man. Popeyes is once again offering to help with your Thanksgiving meal. The fast food giant is bringing back its Cajun-style turkey.
Yeah.
Marinated in Louisiana seasoning and slow roasted. I'm going to read it real slow, sexy like. The bird is pre-cooked, so all you have to do, thaw the turkey, throw it in the oven.
Oh, yes.
Pre-orders are now available. The turkeys can be picked up at local locations or delivered.
That's a good. Have you ever done this turkey?
I have actually had the turkey, but not for Thanksgiving purposes.
Okay.
It was like leftover type thing.
Yeah.
It was good. Mom, I hope you're listening. Yeah.
That's exactly. I saw you were crushing some Popeyes in the newsroom.
Oh man, I told you it's like 6,000 calories to start your day out.
3 times a week, right?
That's the only way to do it. Yes, a steady diet. We'll see you back at 6.